fans, are you ready for the most awe-inspiring, jaw-dropping spectacle this side of the equator? I'm talking about Super Bowl 57. Now you might be sitting on a tailgate in Florida or in your igloo in Canada. Wherever you are, you better have some good munchies. Time to put away those stale peanuts and soggy old pretzels. You need some saucy, sassy chicken wings. And if you're not cheering for the Philadelphia Eagles, you can get out of town.
And touchdown, Philadelphia.
Oh, hey, what's up, hungry homies? ShreddiesMan here. Now today we're going to be making some chicken wings. This recipe's been perfected over the years to make the perfect, delicious flavor. And first of all, we're going to start by making Jimmy's XXX Bodacious wing sauce. Let's dive into it. Okay, let's start on the sauce. So what we want to do first of all is put our heat on medium with a saucepan and a little bit of cooking oil inside. While that's heating up, we're going to take half an onion quartered and 4 cloves of garlic. We're going to put it, I use a food processor because it, chops it up really fine, but you can also do it with a knife. And just a little bit of cooking oil to make it blend smoothly. Keep pureeing it until it's like a fine paste. That's the consistency we want. Hear that sizzle? It's a good sound. You may need to wear goggles if you're really sensitive to onions. I'm going to turn my hood fan on here. Woo! Those are strong. The onions and garlic are starting to get some good color on them. 5 minutes have passed. Our next step is to add a 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar. You want to let this cook for another 5 minutes to get all that acidity out. And keep stirring as you go. Now at this point it looks pretty gross, but that's okay, because this is the heart and soul of the sauce. So our next step is to add in a 1/4 cup of maple syrup. This will blend nicely with the acidity of that balsamic vinegar. Cook that for another 5 minutes, stirring pretty much constantly. You don't want it to stick to the bottom. See, it almost looks like a black tar. Don't worry, this will all come together when we finish the sauce. We're looking good here. That's another 5 minutes. So now we're going to add the wet ingredients. So that's ketchup, chicken stock, and molasses. Start with our ketchup. You can find that at your local refrigerator usually. We want 1.5 cups of this. And in the business, they also call this red sauce. Stir that in to incorporate it with your balsamic mixture here. Now we have 1/4 cup of molasses. Watch it pour out nice and slow. That's a good sign. Stir that in again. Molasses is going to thicken up the sauce real good, so we want something to thin it down. In this case, we're going to use chicken stock. You can use chicken or vegetable stock, that's fine. I'm going to start with 1 cup just to gauge the consistency. I'm pretty sure that should be fine, but we'll just wait and see. At this point, you may want to switch to a whisk because it'll blend it a lot better if you have one on hand. I find it's always better to be prepared. We we've got that mixed in, let's add our dry ingredients. 1 teaspoon smoked paprika. 2 teaspoons ground ginger. Sure that's ginger? Yep, it is. Teaspoon cayenne pepper. If you really don't like spicy stuff, you can replace this with chili powder, but I recommend using the cayenne pepper for that extra kick. Next up is 2 teaspoons of mustard powder. Gives it a nice tang. Finish that off with a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. What do we do next? You guessed it, incorporate it. Keep it on medium heat until the last part. We're going to let it simmer. Now, I lied to you a little bit earlier because there are 2 more wet ingredients. My bad. 1 tablespoon lemon juice and 1 tablespoon Worcestershire sauce, however you want to pronounce it. So this is where you can add your own flair to the sauce. 1/4 cup of any hot sauce that you like, your favorite hot sauce. If you don't like hot sauce, you can skip this step. I like to use this cayenne and Scotch bonnet hot sauce. 1/4 cup. Now we've got everything in it, all our ingredients. We're going to put it on low heat and let it simmer for 20 minutes. After that, you're going to put it in a container, let it cool, and you can refrigerate it for, I'd say, up to a couple months. Should be fine. Look at that, it's perfect. Done and done. Alright, so our XXX Bodacious wing sauce is made and in the fridge. The next step now is to marinate our wings. Now, I'm going to suggest you start this a couple hours before kickoff, just so everything's good and ready so you can make them quick. Now here we have 3 pounds of raw chicken wings. We'll start with 3 cups of buttermilk. Mix up a tablespoon of salt and 1 tablespoon of pepper. I'm just going to eyeball it because I've got the pepper mill. This next step is optional. If you don't like spicy stuff, don't include it. But we're going to do a 1/4 cup of hot sauce. Now just grab a pair of tongs and we're going to mix it all together. Just make sure it's good and incorporated. Okay, we're ready to go to put this in the fridge for 2 to 3 hours. About halfway through, we're just going to give it a mix with the tongs to make sure it's all evenly incorporated. Okay, next up we want to make our dredging mixture. This is to coat the wings after they've been marinated before we put them in the deep fryer. Get yourself a big bowl. Start with 3 cups all-purpose flour. Next up, 1/4 cup of cornstarch. You can also use potato starch. 2 teaspoons onion powder. 2 teaspoons garlic powder. Of course, our favorite ingredient, teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Teaspoon of oregano. Teaspoon of basil. And lastly, 1 tablespoon of salt. You're going to want to get yourself a whisk and mix this all together. Make sure it's mixed real good. All right, there we go. Our mixture is ready. Wings are marinating in the fridge. So right now, it's up to you what you want to do in the next 2 to 3 hours. Take the dog for a walk, have some beers with the boys. Use your imagination. All right, so before we start preparing the wings, we got to get the deep fryer ready. I'm going to start by filling it up with some oil. Make sure you fill it to the proper indicated line. Now, if you don't have a deep fryer at home, you can just get yourself a big pot and fill it up with oil. Just make sure you heat it up with a thermometer to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Parental supervision is required. Now, I'm going to preheat that right now to the same temperature, 350. All right, it's good to go. Well, that's preheating. I'm going to get the wings ready. Now it's time to dredge. You're going to want to roll your sleeves up for this one because it can get a little messy. Take each wing one by one. Make sure you shake all the marinade mixture off. Into your bowl of flour mix, put, I say, 5 wings. Make sure you coat them well in the mixture. And always make sure you keep one hand for the wet marinade and one hand for the dry flour. If you don't do that, things can get pretty nasty. Get yourself a tray and line them up. We're going to repeat that process until all the wings are fully coated in flour. Alright, our fryer is nice and warm, hood fan is on, we're ready to go. So we have all our wings here in that nice floury mixture. Bring up the basket. Start loading them on in one single layer. What I do is I fry them for 8 minutes. At about 4 minutes through, I take the basket out and I turn the bigger ones over. Nice and slow. Back in the fryer for another 4 minutes. Okay, we are ready to go. Looking nice and really golden brown. Let's let these rest for 1 minute before we put them into our bowl. That's 1 minute into the bowl and on to the next step. Okay, the rest of our wings are frying. We have our ones that are done here. And of course, we have the wing sauce. Take it and drizzle it on the wings. Drizzle. Don't be shy. Gotta give them a good toss. That. Nice and coated on there. Put them on a plate and keep them warm until we finish the next batch. You should be good to go. Yeah. Look at that. Those are some crispy looking wings. Now, you have to serve these with some blue cheese dressing or ranch if you're that kind of person. Also some veggie sticks if you're so inclined. All right. Oh yeah, let's give them a taste. Oh. Perfect. There you have it, hungry homies. The perfect game day wings. You'll be ready to watch that pigskin fly. That's going to wrap it up. Till next time, hungry homies. Don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button. And if you really like that sauce recipe, there's a link in the description.
The Philadelphia Eagles are going back to the Super Bowl.